Hi there, welcome to another episode of Intentional Relationships with myself, Nasipo, and my boyfriend here, Mr. Omega Shanye.
Hello.
Today we are speaking about how love is not enough.
Not enough.
To keep you together long term. We know that the early stages of love are always bliss and are always fairy tale and are always a lot of just
I love you.
fairy tales and rainbows and butterflies. But that is a beautiful stage of the actual start of the relationship. But that energy and that sort of fairy tale-ness does not really sustain a relationship long term. There's certain things that have to be considered. There's certain things that have to be done, and there's certain understandings that both people in the relationship have to come into in order for the relationship to work long term. And that's what we're going to discuss today. Let's start with love in itself. What is that?
Ooh, could do a whole video on that. But okay, well, I'll be very brief. There's love, the emotion, love, the action. Love is that feeling you get, like, ooh, I want to be with this person. That's love, the feeling. Love, the action is the things that you do in expressing that emotion. So that for me, like in a nutshell, that's where I'll leave it. And that might seem like enough, but it actually isn't, because a relationship is almost like a business. It has day-to-day operations, and any business needs you to manage it properly. So a relationship needs management. It needs planning for the daily things that are going to happen into it, for the medium to long-term goals that the relationship is going to have, so things to look forward to. It needs that sort of thing. It needs you to really continuously grow as an individual, so that way you can grow as a couple as well. If you don't do that, if you don't have those things, what tends to happen is over time love fizzle out. In like the world of marriage talk, where they speak of the 7-year itch, and that's where things basically end. There's also the 2-year drop, where basically, after 24 months, the honeymoon phase is over. Suddenly we wake up to now realizing who this person really is, without the rose tinted glasses. I suddenly realize, oh flip, this person has things that irritate me. I also irritate them. Like, are they not, they're not that great in this aspect. And then all of a sudden, that emotion that you have is not enough to overcome the irritations or the annoyances or any other thing that you have. Especially when you have like a person who has a wandering eye, then that makes it even worse. Love then really just doesn't become enough. So that's something I'll definitely say. And from your perspective, why is love not enough?
Well, firstly, I will actually...
Well, what is love,
You have to track back and say, what is love? For women, there is this conditioning, and I say conditioning, actually, maybe I should actually even explain the word conditioning. There's certain things and certain thoughts and certain sort of stories that we create about what love is, that we were nurtured into thinking that's love. From
Disney.
Movies, from Disney, from Princess and the Frog or whatever, or Cinderella. We have those notions, and those notions give us certain emotional expectations of what love is, and those emotional expectations now feel at some point in the relationship as if, because I feel like this, things are supposed to be easy. Why are we finding it so hard to be in this thing and not get through the challenges, because we feel so strongly about each other, not understanding that the feeling part of it or the love expression part of it is one part of a bigger whole of a relationship. It takes a lot more, unfortunately, to make a relationship work than just love. It is beautiful. It is something that binds us together and keeps us connected in a more sort of exclusive sort of basis, because I am choosing to share whatever it is that I'm feeling with you. But that on its own will not sustain a relationship long term, because there's certain things that need to be understood between the couple, which obviously you need communication. And if we cannot really sit down and be candid about what's going on with our emotions, with our day-to-day sort of struggles, with the challenges that we're having in life, because we are individual people coming into relationship with each other. So each of us have our own understanding of what it is that is life, how we experience it, how our families have really impacted our way of looking at what is possible for ourselves. So when we are now in relationship and we're thinking love should sustain it, other than the communication, other than setting clear sort of standards as to what is going to be happening in this relationship, we're setting ourselves up for a lot of pain, a lot of suffering that is garnered up by actually not really talking about what is going on and what the expectations are. So I think that is the main sort of cause of pain in relationship, of the unspoken and unwritten rules that are there that are not spoken. And now the love part of it cannot now flourish. It cannot now spring forth and bloom the way it's supposed to be, because there's these little kinks in the way that keep on just making us go back to square one. We feel like we're on a high, and then suddenly there's a drop because of things not communicated, which I feel, I will keep hammering this home. Basis of relationship for women, I think, more lends itself towards the communication side of things, because that now opens up the door to intimacy, that now opens up the door to feeling like I'm heard and I'm being seen, feeling like you appreciate my input in your life and my opinion. So all of that now comes in and brings in that sort of closeness and that sort of intimate vibe that now makes the love feel as if it's holistic.
So in essence, love is not enough. You got to work on the relationship. You got to communicate. You got to have a plan, medium-term goals, long-term goals, things to look forward to. You got to have a combined story that keeps you together. Definitely. More than just like emotions. So in summary, that's pretty much what we're saying. And if you're a person who's in a relationship, show this to your partner or watch it together with your partner and really start to ask yourself a question. Hey, we love each other, but this isn't enough. In fact, like one last thing that I'll say is, we all know in South Africa, 17 to 18% of marriages end in divorce. And once upon a time, those people were probably in love. What happened? And that's something that's so important to ask yourself before actually walking down the aisle, before actually committing, before being in a relationship, or even while you're in a relationship. Ask yourself, dude, how are we managing our love? Because if we're not managing our love and we're not managing the relationship, we're going to fall out of love, or love is going to fade, and we're not going to have structures to get back into a really strong relationship. And then what's going to happen is we are going to drift apart.
Strangers.
And then, we're going to wake up strangers. And then,
I think on my side, the other part of this puzzle that I haven't really spoken about is the combined purpose. I think you touched on it slightly, but we are coming in as individuals and we have our own goals and our own sort of like ambitions that we're pushing, and passions and things that we envision doing as impact in the world. That needs to now work hand in hand with we need to now work hand in hand in the relationship to make the relationship sort of like a combined space for us to springboard our own life purposes, and then the relationship somehow feeds into these life purposes, and we feed back into the relationship, and the relationship feels as if it has a life purpose on its own. I'm not sure if I'm making sense.
The relationship has a purpose.
It has a overall purpose that is fed by your both passions and what it is that you're envisioning your life becoming in the future, and then that gives that bond that is beyond love, and gives a sense of this is beyond just the two of us, but in service to humanity. And that is something that's more than more than just love that sticks you guys together for a greater purpose of humanity.
I will add to that and say, obviously, like you and I are building ourselves towards that journey, but I think you've said it in one other video that people are obviously in different stages of being in a relationship. So like, don't put pressure in yourself to now have like that big awesome purpose, because that can really cause a lot of pressure. Like I can imagine like 2 weeks into the relationship, so what's our big awesome purpose? Like, whoa, dude, I'm just trying to, I'm just trying to get in there. So but but that's key. Like a big purpose, big goal, big joint ambition that is bigger than you individually. If your relationship is bigger than you individually and you guys want to serve the relationship, then definitely you'll go very far. And I think, is that all we have for today?
Yes, that is all that we have for today. We shall see you next week as we discuss another topic of intentional relationships. Please like this video and comment below on what your thoughts and takeaways were on this video that we've done. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.